Welcome to Spiritual Changemakers, the podcast that guides you through tough times with practical tools and inspiring stories. I'm Andrea Thomas, your host and the Sacred Transitions Coach. Join us as we hear from spiritual changemakers who have connected with their higher power and overcame adversity. Whether you are navigating a difficult transition or seeking to deepen your spiritual practice, our podcast provides guidance to help you find magic in the change. Come on this journey of self-discovery, empowerment, and transformation with us and unlock your potential to become your best self.
Hello, my beautiful souls, and welcome to a new podcast episode. And I want to start with something that I have been asking myself a lot lately, and something that I don't necessarily like, but I've been asking myself, am I actually addicted to chaos? And I'm not talking about like the dramatic type of chaos, but I'm talking about that constant need to change things, like moving, traveling, starting something new, doing something new, maybe dating someone new, changing plans, and creating the next thing. And what I got to realize that maybe the problem isn't that, I just want to constantly change, but that is hard for me to slow down. And there is a part of me who just doesn't want to slow down because stillness has been like quite uncomfortable for me. So welcome to a new podcast episode where we are going to dive into the addiction to change. And is it a bad addiction? Is it a good addiction? Does it serve you or it does not? How do you know? And this is something we are actually going to go deep and uncover in today's episode. And I've been traveling now for over 4 years, and I decided, okay, I'm in Austin. I found my place. I'm gonna commit. I'm gonna ground, and I'm literally preparing right now to go on a trip to Europe to visit my family. And I was at this like crossroad where I loved the place I was in, but they would only make the lease. They will only do it for 3 months. And then I had 3 weeks before I left to Europe, and they gave me this amazing deal. Okay, Andrea, you can renew for these 3 weeks, then you can leave and come back and stay for another 3 months and blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, okay, I'm doing it. I'm committing to Austin. I'm committing to this place. And I swear to you, I did it. I signed a lease and everything. And I'm like, okay, this feels good because I'm breaking the pattern of creating chaos. I'm making it easy for me. I would ask myself, how can this be easy? So when I come back from Europe back to Austin, I just have my home. No, I just have a place. And I decided to do that. And probably just a week after, I had this fight with my roommate because I've been having a 80-year-old roommate. And honestly, it was the first time ever for me when I got to live with someone much older, no? And from my perspective, I was like, I'm quite easy. I'm not much at home. I'm a lot in my space and working and blah, blah. But when we had the fight, she shared everything that was bothering her from like what I was doing and how I was being. And I'm like, wow, a lot of these things are like really new to me because I never knew and I was just not aware of it. And just after I had that fight with her, it did not feel right to be in that space anymore. And I was able to to go back afterwards when we both calmed down and to repair the relationship, but was still not feeling right anymore. And I was like, okay, is this a way how the universe is just guiding me and redirecting me? Because I'm not the one that actually decides, no. And one of the things I've learned from Kabbalah is that everyone in our life, they just play their role. They're playing the role that they are meant to play to guide us, redirect us, you know? So I was like, okay, didn't she literally just played her role for me to feel like kicked out of the house, even though I was not, but to feel that way and to feel that, okay, now it's time to move on. And then I was just constantly getting this feeling of, I really want to just be by myself and I want to be in my space and in my energy, because I realized I've been living either with my ex or with other roommates, like from one place to another. And because I have been going through really deep processes, like really deep internal processes, also by, if you have not listened to my previous podcast episodes, then you might not know that I have been in this like deep slowing down and detoxing from consuming, from personal development retreats, events, and so on, which has been extremely challenging. I literally have been feeling this withdraw, you know, and I'm like, who am I? What am I doing? Oh, and not really having a lot of change in my life. So I'm like, maybe I'm actually also causing this for myself right now, because I just want to have at least one change. And can I just change the place? And can I just, you know, let me just move. So I decided to actually move, and I found this apartment that I'm recording this podcast episode from right now. Really cute apartment where I've been living by myself. And I'm going to Europe in just a few weeks, and I'm like, I don't know what it's gonna be after. And I'm in this constant, you know, of like, okay, being okay in not knowing, being okay in not knowing, being okay in the unknown. Because in this moment, honestly, there is no place that like specifically calls me or pulls me. And I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm not just gonna travel to travel. Like, I feel super excited to go to Europe to see my family, but other than that, I'm like, I could go anywhere in the world, but there is no place that pulls me. So I'm just going to allow it to unfold and see what it's going to happen. No, but do you see what happened here? I decided to commit. Yeah, when I had such a hard time committing, and I'm like, okay, I'm choosing commitment. But then something else happened that I'm like, oops, I'm gonna change my mind to that commitment. So I had to be willing to let go to that commitment. So this, you know, this is like, oh, the space I have been moving through and what's been happening in my life. And now I want to talk about this pattern, no, that I have been noticing in myself, because there has been this, you know, movement, this constant movement of next place, next trip, new experiences, new retreats, new programs, new coaches, new business ideas. Oh, the next transformation and the next version of me. So, what is actually happening when there is nothing to change? And do we ever arrive at that place of just being content with who we are, with where we are? And I want you to bring this into the body. What is happening when there is nothing to change? because our nervous system actually doesn't necessarily chooses what is objectively best for us. No, the majority of the time it actually just moves towards what is familiar. And sometimes the familiarity, how it has been for me these last 3-4 years, is like movement, stimulation, urgency, no solving problems. Because when you travel, guess what, you're going to experience a lot of challenges and a lot of problems, and then you are like constantly stimulated. Find a new place, new things to do, where to work, internet, like, all of these things, planning and changing and achieving. So when things become quiet, actually the body can interpret quiet as something is wrong, even when actually there is nothing wrong. And this is the distinction that I want you to explore. And I found myself telling my coach that I'm like, I don't feel like myself. I don't know what's happening. Guess why? Part of it because there has been no stimulation and no constant movement. And other things I found myself asking is like, who am I? If I'm not constantly traveling and moving and also coming out and about on social media and showing people, look, all of the amazing, great, and hard things that I'm doing and I'm going for, and looking for recognition and validation for that. I'm like, oh. And now I'm able to see it in other people, when that happens. And now I'm like, who am I if I strip all of these things away? And, the thing is that sometimes chaos is not something that it's happening to us. Sometimes it's something that we are just unconsciously creating because we just know how to function inside of it. Because you might have never throughout your life had like a calm, life. You might have actually grown up in a lot of chaos, drama, fights, addictions, all violence, all these kind of things. And a lot of times, people actually get uncomfortable even in their relationships. And I've seen that with myself as well. And in my previous relationships, like when things were too good, I'm like, this is actually boring. So how about we create some fire by creating a fight, isn't it? And it's not like something that we do intentionally and logically that, oh, I'm bored, let me pick up on a fight. No, it's actually, oh, this doesn't feel right because it's not familiar. It feels uncomfortable. It feels boring. And I need some stimulation. This is what I've been noticing with myself as well. I was telling my coach, I'm like, I'm just not stimulated, like mentally either, intellectually, because I'm not studying. And I haven't been creating much either. I've been in this space of just like, like in the mud, let me like pull it away and like barely like taking the next step and the next step. I'm barely breathing, through all of this. And another example I want to give you here is that someone has like a calm business and that feels again boring. So what do? They create another project. Can you relate? I have like 100 new projects all the time. So I'm like, oh, I should change the platform of my website. Let me ask for the video testimonials and give myself work on these things, instead of actually focusing what is it that it's working, what is bringing revenue. Let me double down on that. And the other thing here, it can be that someone has, like, I don't know, a week off from work, or has an empty week, doesn't have any appointments. What do? They start feeling every single hour. And why is that? Because it's just so uncomfortable to be in the nothingness. It's so uncomfortable to be with yourself and just be in that space of doing nothing. Like right now, you're listening to this podcast, but how often do you take time to just do nothing? And the question here is not why I can't slow down. The question is, what am I afraid I will feel if I do? So this is the question I want to ask you. What is it that you are afraid that you will get to feel if you do slow down? Because, like how uncomfortable it's been for me to just be in one place. Not necessarily because I don't like this place, because I've been loving Austin, but because being in just one place means less stimulation, less novelty, less like new things, exciting things, less distractions, and just more me. Just more me. And this is where, like, if you want to learn how less is more, go and listen to my previous episode where I speak more on that. But, for all of these years, I really thought that, I'm just craving freedom, which I was 100%. But it was not just that. I'm also realizing that sometimes I use freedom as a way to avoid just being still, just being with myself. And maybe true freedom isn't just being able to leave whenever I want. And maybe it's actually just knowing that I can stay. Oof. And that just like touches my heart so deeply. Because when you are at that place in your life that I have worked really hard to create the freedom that I have right now, to be able to just travel the world, be anywhere, everywhere, work from anywhere. It's a dream came through. It's like, how is it to connect with the knowing that actually the freedom right now for me is staying. So I want to ask you, where are you creating movement right now in your life because stillness feels uncomfortable? And I want to ask you to see and maybe start recognizing right now your pattern. Are you constantly changing jobs? Are you constantly starting new projects? Are you maybe ending relationships? Are you looking for the next retreat? Are you looking to constantly improve yourself? Or maybe traveling because genuinely you want to, or because staying just feels uncomfortable? And are you just trying to fill in every silence? Are you actually maybe creating problems to solve? And I don't want with this episode for you to take away that change is bad. No, 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 no. I absolutely love change. And of course I do. And one of the things I was telling people that I was so proud of is that I'm like, oh, I'm so adaptable. I can just go through any change and I can adapt to anything and everything, And I was like, yes, that is one of my superpowers. And anything that is overused, can turn from a superpower to a challenge, to an addiction. Is the same as like dark chocolate. It's healthy for you, no? But then if you're gonna eat a whole bar every single day, it turns from being healthy to being toxic. And this is where I want us to arrive of this place of distinguishing, and being able to discern of, okay, the way I am acting right now, the action that I'm taking, the way I'm making the decisions, are they serving me or harming me? Because I want you to look at that change. It's sacred. And one of the things that it's actually inevitable in this lifetime and that it's absolutely constant is change. And sometimes, we are really called to go somewhere new. But there is a big, big difference between being guided into change and just creating change because we don't know how to be with what is. To just breathe into what is, accept what is, and can we just find the beauty in what is? And this morning, I took a moment, and I went, I have a pool here in the building where I moved. And it was the first time I decided this morning to just go and use the pool for a little bit. I'm like, I want to just soak in some sun and be by the pool and swim for a little bit. And I was there journaling as well. And for the first time, honestly, in weeks now, I've been able to tap back into my heart and just feel this gratitude for the little things, and I was like, wow, I'm so blessed that I get to create my own schedule, that I can take the whole morning for myself and go to the pool if I want to and journal and just take hours to do my own practices and work on myself. And I was like, wow, I am so blessed. And when we are in a rut, when we are in this in between, in the void, however you want to call it, no matter what we have, all of the blessings, because at any given moment we have a million blessings that are happening, that are present in our life, but it's very hard to see them, to connect with them, and to recognize them. And this morning I was able to tap back into that, and I'm like, wow, this feels so good to appreciate what is, to appreciate what we already have present in our life. Because I found myself, this past few weeks, I'm like, oh, I cannot wait to leave to Europe. I cannot wait. So instead of being in the present moment and enjoying what is right now, I would constantly take myself to September, where I'm like, oh, I just want to leave already. I just want to be gone. And I noticed that. And this is what our mind tends to do. It either takes us into the past, like thinking about and ruminating about the past, or it takes itself into the future and be like, oh, just looking forward now when you have a vacation plan, when you have time off from work, or when you have a concert, or you are just like constantly you are placing yourself into that space and time, and you forget to be present with what is. And when you arrive to that travel or concert or whatever it is, you just brush through it because you take again yourself either into the past or to the future, and you're like, oh my God, I only have a few days right now left, and then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna be into the work and whatever. So the job, your job, my job, our our job is to like bring our awareness back into the present moment and accept and appreciate so deeply what is right now. So I want you to try something this week. And one of them is to don't change anything for one day. One day, just take one day where you do not fix anything, when you don't start anything new, when you don't make a big decision. And I want you to just notice and journal as well what's coming up for you. Notice what's coming up in your body when there is nothing to solve. Notice the urge to create, and what are the stories that you tell yourself if you are not creating. And I will give you some examples. For me, it was like, I'm wasting my time here on earth if I'm not creating, if I'm not learning, if I'm not growing. Another one was like, I'm just burning through all of the money I have and I'll be poor. Oh, I am judged because I am lazy if I'm just resting. And these are some of my stories that were blocking me to just give myself that time to just be and rest and do nothing. And do nothing and don't chase change. And when you do this exercise, ask yourself, is this intuition or is just familiarity? What is it? Because how I want you to look at it is that sometimes the next transition, it's not about changing your life. Yep. Sometimes the transition, it's learning how to stay. Like for me, it would be how to stay in a new place. For some people, it would be like learning how to stay in a relationship that deep down they know it's good for them, but they are afraid of being intimate. They are afraid of staying, and they are afraid of being bored now in the relationship or in the place, because they're so used to with the novelty, with the excitement and so on. And I want you to know that not every urge for change, it's a calling. And that sometimes it's just like a coping mechanism, because a regulated body doesn't necessarily like needs everything to stay the same, but it simply just, it has more capacity now to discern, to distinguish between like an impulse or an inner knowing. And this is what it means to learn the language of your body, the language of your nervous system, which is something I am still learning, I'm still discovering every single day. And if this is something you desire deeper support on, this is what I work with myself and with my clients. I do somatic work where we go very, very deep. And some of the things that my clients are telling me is that every single session that we are having is like this catalyst. No, and literally a client of mine was telling me that she feels like a tumor. It's like removed from her body at every single session, and she just becomes more free and more liberated within herself to be able to trust herself, no, to change the job, to leave the relationship, to ask for the raise, and just to arrive at this place of loving yourself and where you are in that moment, appreciating so deeply the life that you have created. And if not, having the capacity to change that and create a change from the inner knowing and not from the reaction. So thank you for tuning in. Send me a DM with what is your biggest takeaway from today. I would love to hear, and reach out. I will put down in the show notes on how you can reach out for us to work together. And I will see you in the next episode. Until next time.
Thanks for tuning in to Spiritual Changemakers podcast. To stay connected and help us reach more people like you, please subscribe, follow, and leave a comment. Join our community of Spiritual Changemakers on social media to connect with like-minded individuals and continue the conversation. Remember, the power to create positive change is within you. Keep showing up as your best self, and let's keep the magic of change alive. Until next time.